I know climate change can feel like an uphill battle, but I want to introduce you to the Yurok tribe, who fought the system and won. They're behind the world's largest dam removal project, and they're huge advocates of cultural berms. Their work matters because by reminding us of the history of water and fire, they're helping us rewrite the future of Earth.
The indigenous people of this basin pushed really hard for dam removal for 20 plus years.
It was a wake-up call. It's been good in that respect. You have people understand that we need to remove those dams. Now what's happened, now the healing process, it has to continue.
But first, this all started as a love story. Hi, I'm Charles Loy and I'm a filmmaker. A few years ago, I was busy building a career in film, but I wasn't making anything straight from the heart. And then I met somebody. And one day we began talking about bringing new life into this world together. But then we talked about climate change. If we ever have a kid one day, I want to be able to look them in the eye and say, I did everything I could to ensure that you grew up in a world worth living in. So that's what I'm doing here. I'm not a scientist, activist, or a policymaker, but I am a storyteller. And I can help amplify the voices of those who are making a real difference. Remind you that we can build that alternative world together. My friends and I made an Emmy-winning series on PBS called Climate California. I talked to some of the visionaries who are leading the way, and they just might change how you see your role in this fight. Because this is a love story, one that's about our collective love for our only home. So subscribe or follow. I'm Charles Loy, and from NorCal Public Media, this is A Fighting Chance. A Fighting Chance is a presentation of the Center for Environmental Reporting with financial support from the estate of Claire Etienne. The Yurok tribe are stewards of the Klamath River at the border of southern Oregon and northern California. Like many tribes here in the 1800s, the Yurok lost 90% of their land to settlers. Then in the early 1900s, they lost their river to dams. The dams provided much needed electricity, carbon-free, but were an ecological disaster.
Dead fish, or as you can see, it was heartbreaking to make you cry. And that really brought people together, like we have to do something or we're done. The fish are done.
The Yurok never stopped fighting. Fisheries Director Barry McCovey explained how they won.
We were literally laughed at out of the room. You're never gonna remove those dams, that's silly. But tribal people took it really serious. We knew that if we want to restore balance into this ecosystem, that those things had to go.
There's less available water to come down the Klamath to support salmon populations, which in turn can make disease more prevalent and fish more susceptible to disease.
Removing dams helps an entire ecosystem deal with climate change. It's been said before, climate change is like a fever. The healthier the patient or the ecosystem, the more likely they'll get through it. Overall health is important because as the temperature goes up, the threat of diseases goes up for humans, plants, and animals. Yurok member and biologist Oshun Yurok showed us this problem firsthand.
This one, as you can see, it has a distended abdomen. So that is an indicator that this fish has sea shasta.
This guy's not doing so well.
Yeah, he might not make it.
The dams on the Klamath prevented the salmon from reaching their breeding waters and caused a massive fish die-off from diseases like sea shasta. Now that they've removed the dams, the Yurok are helping the fish thrive, which improves the entire food chain here on the Klamath. I sat down with Oshun, who's assessing the restoration efforts, and her father, Tiger.
We showed you our rotary screw trap, which catches juvenile out-migrating salmon. And so that's just one of our projects that we have here on the Mid-Klamath, where we do a lot of research and monitoring, checking on the health of the fish and the condition of the river, and make management decisions based off the things that we see out on the river.
Do you see any changes in the management practices that need to be done?
I think overall we do a good job. The Yurok tribe is just one entity that is a part of, the management decisions of the Klamath River. We work with a lot of other state and federal agencies. This year, with the dams coming down, the conditions seem to be pretty good, maybe a little bit better than some have expected. Fish don't seem to be too affected by the amount of sediment that's coming down the river from the dam.
Tiger, what's your assessment? Are you happy with what Oshun's doing?
Yeah, I'm really happy. Fish survival is our survival. We're intertwined. That's who we are. All of the scientific data is really needed to gather to being able to focus on what part needs to happen first. But yeah, so I'm really glad that this younger generation is taking that on and are doing that.
Was Oshun also like really passionate about the river like you when she was younger?
She's born and raised on the river. She grew up fishing. Oh yeah, yeah. It's a way of life. She's grown up that way. The older people, they fought for that for us. And now we're fighting for that for them.
Do you want to talk a little bit about what work it took to get the dams removed?
The fishing just got so bad. If you had seen when we had a fish kill, it was heartbreaking to make you cry. Dead fish, or as you can see, I mean, thousands of fish. And so that was a wake-up call for everybody, and that really brought people together. Like, we have to do something, or we're done. The fish are done. Have people understand that we need to remove those dams. Now it's happened. Now the healing process, but there's still work to do, and people need to realize that dam removal is just a starting point in my mind.
Yeah, what you just said like makes me think of cathedral thinking. Like when you're building a cathedral, you know that it's going to take generations, like 100 years, several hundred years. And so you're starting something that will not be completed within your lifetime.
Oh,
right?
yeah.
Or maybe in your children's lifetime. Is that something that you guys were thinking about?
Oh, of course I knew that. We knew that. I mean, this happened before me. People in generation before me started this stuff. My grandma's generation, they had commercial fisheries, but they realized it was unsustainable in this river.
Oshun, did you have any comments on that?
I think my dad is right. I think the 2002 fish kill was a jumping off point, especially for sparking the legal battle. It was just a really long process, but it all started after the 2002 fish kill that brought a lot of awareness to the issue that there wasn't before, not to a larger audience. We are always thinking about future generations and how to create a sustainable future for our children and their children after that. It's something that's always a part of our thinking and our way of managing our natural resources.
I was wondering if you guys could talk a little bit about the relationship that the rest of us, Californians and Americans, should have with tribes. Things that we can be better about, especially with the Yurok tribe, like things that we need to be more aware of, because a lot of people who are watching this are not indigenous.
I think generally speaking, most people in California, non-native people, like they don't have a really good understanding of Yurok people or just, tribal Californians. Trying to broaden their understanding and their knowledge of tribal people is a really good start. Learning about the dam removal effort and river restoration and all of our other efforts, to combat climate change is a really big help.
Yeah, it's kind of like an entry point, right? Like the reason why we're here is because we heard about the world's largest dam removal project. But then being here, opens up all these other questions, that are broader, much more complex.
Yeah, and I think if people put in a little bit of effort, to learn about these things, they would gain more understanding and be more willing to support these efforts of ours.
Okay, well, speaking of learning, do you guys speak Yurok?
I mean, I know some.
Is there a word for river or for salmon?
Nipui, salmon, yeah. River.
Are there interesting proverbs or sayings about rivers?
They don't really get involved. They're more like the here and now. It's like you do this, this river's quick and deadly.
Yeah.
So you don't got time to be, thinking about that kind of stuff. You don't do this, you're gonna die.
Okay. Yeah. The words for survival, not poetry.
Yeah, I don't know of many Yurok proverbs.
One of the last questions. What are your visions for the future?
From a science perspective, I hope that we will be able to restore the salmon population of the Klamath Basin. It'll be a lifetime of work for myself and many others to restore the fisheries to what it once was. Also just to be able to, continue our cultural and traditional ways of life that we have here.
I would like to see people being able to adopt them traditional values and cultural traditions, our spiritual growth and development. Our physical aspects change, but our Our spiritual teachings just should never change. All of these things are intertwined with the fish, with the lifestyle. We look up the river where the fish went before. That's the past. We learn from that. But we're looking down the river for the future. Those unborn yet still coming. We have to make sure, we have to make these connections to make sure they continue to be here.
Being with Oshun and Tiger felt restorative. A lot of us grew up on land with a complicated history. For me, that land was California. Land that was taken. Land that was settled. Land that was loved by people before us. We can't undo that. And land acknowledgements, however well-intentioned, aren't enough. What I think Oshun and Tiger are actually asking of us is something more active than guilt, a little more tangible than gratitude. It's that wherever you live, city, suburb, rural, you are part of that place's ecology. You're either helping it or hurting it. You both enjoy that place's benefits and serve a function in its cycles, like a fish in a river. Oshun and Tiger fought to tear down some concrete, but what they're showing us is a way of being in relationship with a place. Whether you're indigenous or not, and for most of us it's not, the question is, what's your relationship to the animals, the plants, the water around you? What's here? What should be here? This question matters more now as Americans are building more and more in the wildland-urban interface, the WUI, the places where settlements meet the wild. What should be here, some say, is fire, but that's not a comfortable reality. But small fires might be the best way to combat the mega fires that are threatening our homes. So up next, Oshun's cousin Blaine is showing us how to fight fire with fire. Hey, if you're enjoying this show, consider donating to NorCal Public Media's Center for Environmental Reporting. That's how we get to do more of these. Go to norcalpublicmedia.org/donate. Thanks. If you enjoyed this show and want to dig even deeper into climate issues in California, what's happening, who's impacted, and what we can do about it, check out The Climate Dispatch. The Climate Dispatch is a monthly podcast from Sierra Club, California, in collaboration with Stranded Astronaut Productions. It dives into the most pressing climate issues facing California, examining local stories, challenges, and solutions shaping communities across the state. From plastic waste and the housing crisis to climate migration, light pollution, and sea level rise, if it's happening in California, they're talking about it. Host Taya Jeanette really dives deep, and she features insights from experts and uplifts the lived experiences, wins, and struggles of local communities. And it doesn't pull punches. My favorite episode is the one that dissects the legacy of John Muir and the National Parks movement, both the good and the ugly. They're really great conversations. Listen to The Climate Dispatch at sc.org/climate dispatch or wherever you get your podcasts. Forests are the best stores of carbon we have on land, but increasingly out-of-control wildfires are making storing that carbon harder. And so smaller fires that burn up accumulated stock can help prevent devastation in the future. This is kind of what indigenous people did in California before settlers banned them from doing that. Now people are coming around to the older cultural burn practices of tribes like the Yurok, who treated Northern California like their garden. And their favorite tool was fire. I spoke with Oshun's cousin, Blaine McKinnon. He's the Yurok tribe's fire chief and a certified federal burn boss, a bridge between two worlds.
My relationship's always been great with fire. It's been a really intimate, great connection with fire itself because I understand what we need to do with it and use it as a tool. It's not just a pathway to achieve something, but it's connection with fire that connects with the land, that we're connecting through fire with the land. I understand that. I think a lot of people think that fire is a negative thing, that it's a devastating thing, because you see, when you turn on the TV during the summer especially, you see large wildfires that are burning 100,000 acres, 200,000 acres, that are burning people's homes, that are leading to deaths. That's your only connection. But for me, that connection isn't the same, because I don't see fire as a negative thing. I just think we're at a point now with the lack of fire. That's why we're seeing these devastating fires.
Do you have any research questions, things that you're curious about with fire and wildfire?
I guess my biggest question would be what does it look like once we've gone to the whole area and got it to a point where we've done enough fuels reduction, we've done enough burning to where that fire, it's just going to burn the surface fuels, it's going to burn those ground material, and it's not going to get up in the canopy and kill all the trees. It's not going to burn down people's homes. So that's what I want to see. That's my biggest question. What's that going to look like? And I already know the answer because that's what we did. That's the way we used to burn, and we could burn in those times when it's hot because we knew what that fire was going to do. It was going to clean up the area. It's going to help provide for our family.
With climate change, that's going to intensify heat, intensify droughts. Are you worried about that?
I am, because when I first started, I remember the highest temperatures would be 102, 103 degrees. Fast forward 20 years later with climate change, this last year there were record highs here locally of 114 degrees, which is 10, 12 degrees higher than when I first started. Now we're seeing 500,000 acre fires, 1,000,000 acre fires that are just burning down areas that's not doing any good, that's burning people's homes, that's leading to deaths, that's leading to just scorching the earth and not even able to use that ground for a great amount of time. To see that change and understand that climate and the mean temperature of the earth has something to do with that is scary, because mix the temperature with the fuel, the overstock fuel loading right now is catastrophic. But if we could go out and burn, we could go out and take care of the land and be in balance with the land like we're meant to be, we wouldn't see those catastrophic effects. We have people that have that traditional knowledge of fire, and we have people that understand it, that could do it safely, but they're limited by what they could do because there's laws against somebody that's not certified as a burn boss to go out there and conduct these cultural burns.
I'm just curious about how this work has shaped you.
Mm-hmm.
So for you, how has this work changed you? How does it influence your perspective?
Yeah, so I feel like I'm lucky because I fell into my career as a wildland firefighter. I actually was working for the tribe. One of the requirements for the tribe was to take the basic fire training, and ever since then, I've just had a love for fighting fire. I've taken 30 to 40 classes. I've gone to a bunch of trainings. I've had a lot of experience. I can see it from two different lenses. I can see it from the agency standard, and I can see it from a cultural, traditional standard. And that's the biggest change that I feel like, is that I'm able to have those resources and have all that knowledge to see both sides of it. California as a whole is starting to see the cultural benefits, which is great, but I want to be able to go out and burn without having to worry about being arrested for doing so.
Yeah, that's like a nice bare minimum.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, and a level of respect for the traditions here.
Mm-hmm. But I think traditionally, though, we had a lot of those same objectives a long time ago, too, because we would burn to help reduce the amount of brush, so it's better for hunting. We would burn because we wanted to create a defensible space for our villages and for our people. When we burn, it's more of like a prayer for us, like almost like going to church. It's similar to us for cultural burning. We're told and taught to have good thoughts when we're doing those kind of things, just like our ceremonies. We don't go down there with negative thoughts in our minds. We're supposed to be have good feelings, good thoughts for people, nothing negative. So we bring all that energy, that same energy, to burning. So I think that's probably one of the things that somebody could say if they ask me the difference is between cultural fire and like a prescribed fire. That might be the big difference right there. It's just the way we think about it and the way we present ourselves and the way we actually conduct those burns is a way of almost like a prayer.
I'm curious what it feels like when you're on one of these big cultural burns. Like, what does it feel like? What does it smell like? What do you focus on?
It's a feeling of joy, of excitement, of accomplishment. We sit down afterwards and everybody's just excited. Everyone loves it. Nobody wants to leave. And we'll have like after action reviews at the end of these burns, and people are sad. People are crying because they don't want to go. They're just they just don't know how to feel. They have all that joy inside from accomplishing these goals out here. It really is a good feeling.
And that joy, that's connection. What is that joy?
Yeah, it's connection. Absolutely. It's connection to our ancestors and to the land. It's a way to walk in our footsteps of our ancestors, because this is what they did. They came out and they burned. All of our ancestors walked these same hills, burned these same patches. We all have been a part of that. So it's a connection with them.
What Blaine shared reminded me of what Oshun, Tiger, and Barry had told me.
Our spiritual and cultural beliefs are intertwined with this place and all the things that live and grow here. And so having the mentality of sustainability and stewardship is something that is going to help us to be able to thrive in the future.
This place shapes you. You You know, I have 1,000 years of people buried right behind my house. I mean, that's who we are.
Using our teachings from the past, using the values that we had for thousands of years, and carrying those values on into the future.
We're stewards of the land. So advice for the young generation is to ask those questions, to talk to your elders, to talk to your people. We need to pass that information off to them so they can continue that. We're here for the land is here for us.
You can see more of Oshun, Tiger, and Blaine on episode 1 and 5 of our Emmy-winning series, Climate California. It's on YouTube, pbs.org, and your local PBS station. Thanks for listening to A Fighting Chance. If you enjoyed the show, like, comment, follow, subscribe. It really helps us get this out to more people who need hopeful, solutions-focused climate stories. In the meantime, connect with me on the platforms, YouTube, Instagram, TikTok, or Blue Sky. Until next time, whatever your cathedral is, I hope you enjoy building it with your people. A Fighting Chance is a production of NorCal Public Media's Center for Environmental Reporting. This episode is produced by senior producer and editor Taylor Kaufman, executive producers Darren Lachelle and Nathan Toby, and me, Charles Loy. It's edited by Ken Kalu, Jennifer DeFilippo, and myself, and filmed by Michael Field, Hannah Lee, Jeremy Ju, Brittany Hernandez, and Anna Loy, with archival footage by Swiftwater Films and Shane Anderson and M. Sid Kelly. Original music and sound engineering by Miguel Brierly. Talent booking and marketing support by Jessica Pilot, Kristen Hayford, and Shemay Saunders. Artwork by Ashley Wittenborn with photography by Michael Field. Our digital content manager is Kelly Olson, and our head of TV is Paul Swenson. Special thanks to Max Allen. For a full list of credits, go to afightingchancepod.org.